For tips on how Canadians can prepare for a expected polar vortex, I do want to bring in Dave Phillips. He, of course, is a climatologist with Environment and Climate Change Canada, and he's good enough to join us today from Barrie, Ontario, with more on all of this. So, Dave, thank you so much for making some time for us on this very snowy Monday morning for parts of this country.
Well, it is in Calgary, and it's kind of the first major snowfall of the winter. They had, I think, 1 centimeter in October, maybe 3 up to now. But Calgary's going to see about 7 to 10. They're not as bad as places like Medicine Hat and Lethbridge and into southwestern Saskatchewan. They're going to see, you're right, 10 to 15, maybe even 20 centimeters of snow with some winds picking up. So, hey, it's tough driving. And, of course, the fact, Hillary, it's Monday, so, it didn't happen on the weekend. So people are commuting and getting around, and boy, it always makes it a little tough. And of course, the first significant snowfall of the year, it's bad wherever it is. We're just not used to it.
That is for sure a heck of a Monday morning commute for some folks in Calgary. Take us through what we're expecting over the next few hours and days. Is this something that's going to be a big dump of snow and then it sort of moves along? Or should folks in this part of the country, should they be anticipating that this might linger?
No, I think it's really a hit and run. It's not a moist storm. It's not like taking in moisture from the Pacific. It's coming from the south. And so it's really just not an Alberta clipper, but it's just a storm that, hey, it's got some snow associated with it. It's going to hit and run. Hillary, this is not snow that'll give you the white Christmas. It's not. You're not going to ski on this snow. This is kind of like the early dress rehearsal of what we're now going to see. This is the beginning of winter for parts of southern Saskatchewan, southern Alberta. They're going to see more of it, but my sense is not going to be lasting snow. But hey, it is the first tease. You want to sort of say, where is my snow shovel and my my clothes, and have I put my winter tires on? It's this nature giving us a kind of a heads up. Hey, it's coming, so don't ignore it.
Okay, well, all of this, and then you can't even ski or snowboard on it. What is the point? What is the fun in that? Now, Dave, polar vortex. We have now uttered those words, those dreaded words. Talk to us a little bit about that. What might we see when it comes to some of those colder temperatures in this part of the country?
Well, Hillary, we are the second coldest country in the world. We are the snowiest country in the world. Winter is who we are. But yet for Canadians, polar vortex is like swearing, I mean, it is just absolutely something they don't want to hear. And, you're sort of resigned to hear it and say the dead of winter in January, February, or the end of winter. But here we are in November, a month before the official beginning of winter. Environment Canada doesn't even have its winter forecast out yet. And we're talking about polar vortex. And yes, there's a hint there that it's coming. December looks cooler than normal. I looked at the map for our December forecast, Hillary, and it is showing for Yukon, Northwest Territories, British Columbia, across the prairies, right into northern Ontario, into Alberta, into Quebec. We're showing colder than normal conditions in December as a result of the fact that we're seeing one of the earliest onslaughts of a polar vortex coming. And so it looks like it's going to be here. It's not a sure forecast, but hey, I'd bet a few loonies on the fact that, hey, December's looking like it's going to be colder. Hey, it might be the white Christmas that we always want, but it's kind of an early beginning for winter in Canada. And sometimes the one thing about the polar vortex that is the worst part of it, it's not just like a 10-day thing. It's not like 2 weeks of cold. It sometimes can go on for the entire winter. I remember 2014 was a bad polar vortex year, and places in Canada had their coldest winter in 38 years. So, hey, it's not something you want to hear at the beginning, but hey, it is what it is.
So, Dave, you mentioned there that Environment Canada, it's so early at this point, you haven't even had a chance to get your full winter forecast out, but can you give us a little tease? What do you think past December there? You talked about December, but what about as we stretch into January and February?
Well, Hillary, something I have not seen before in a few years, where you see a large part of Canada is showing colder than normal. And that is the December forecast. Now, I've looked at the preliminary forecast for December, January, February, which is the 3 winter months. And it's showing in parts of eastern Canada a little milder than normal or near normal, but it is showing in the west a fairly cold kind of a winter. So my sense is it's the hoary season that we have of winter. It's something we're famous for. We don't always like it, but hey, we're forewarned and get used to it. It's also often an expensive year because you've got to pay more for your home heating bills. But those people who love winter, my gosh, the skiers, the snowmobilers, the ice fishers, hey, this is kind of gold to them. This is what they like to hear, and they get an early start in the season. This would just be absolutely music to their ears.
Dave, it is always so great to speak with you. I had hoped it wouldn't be for another month or so when it comes to talking about winter. But here we are. We're already in the thick of it. So we really do appreciate having you on board with all of it.
You're so welcome. Bye-bye, Hillary.
Dave Phillips for us. Of course, he is a climatologist with Environment and Climate Change Canada, and he joined us today in Barrie, Ontario. Thank you.